Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are once again in orbit of Mars in our increasingly desperate attempt to bring one of these many Asterisk 2 engines down to our crew on the surface. So, we're just going to go for broke, and we're going to deorbit all of them. Now, there is a couple of reasons behind this. You'll see me now venting the food, water, and oxygen, which was the initial primary purpose for this mission, but now it's just kind of dead weight. So we have a couple of problems about this. One, most importantly, the batteries that were supposed to sit at the top of each one of these resupply pods did not get copied over. I mean, the procedural part is there. There's just nothing in it. Which is a big problem with the using the copy-paste, the alt-click function in the VAB with procedural tanks. It just doesn't work. So these Able avionics cores that only hold 300 units of electric charge are not enough to deorbit one of these supply pods on a typical trajectory, and their individual thrust-to-weight ratio is kind of sad, to put it lightly. It just kind of lacks the thrust to make an immediate deorbit or a kamikaze-style burn and bleed off its horizontal velocity very quickly. They got like 5 minutes of runtime apiece in fuel, and they'll be on the ground or out of battery. They're really designed to use the drag from those aero brakes plus parachutes. Oh, that's another problem. We'll get to that one soon enough to do a majority of the slowing down. But without the food, water, and oxygen, each one of these pods has something like 3,500 meters per second of delta V. And if we drain the remaining fuel into the primary tank with our experimental lander engine down there, at a minute 9 runtime, we can get about 3,400 meters per second. Now, that figure is roughly very inaccurate. It's actually about half that, which is interesting enough. So, as you'll notice, we spend half of our time in darkness, in which we lose connection because the batteries die. So we can't really do a whole lot at night, especially not in the latter half of our orbit after the batteries have died. We've probably got just a couple minutes endurance with all of these Able cores, plus the big 1 meter core down there at the center, taking all of our battery charge. So we can't do a lazy deorbit. We can't do literally anything on the nighttime side of our orbit. So we need to make a kamikaze burn, and we have one spot in our orbital track that takes us over the base where it is sunlit. So our very first step here is going to be after transferring fuel and dumping the food, water, and oxygen. So I guess that makes us the fourth step, because we did need to consolidate electric charge as much as possible and conserve it so that we can make sure we have a fully charged Able avionics core or two when it comes time to try to put something on the dirt. So we're going to go through and arm every single one of our parachutes while we have a connection. We should be on the daylight side long enough to make this a thing. It takes about 9 minutes of light travel time to get a signal out to this thing and have it obey any commands whatsoever. So just to make sure I didn't miss anything, we'll bring up our flight computer here and watch all the parachutes arm. Now, on to like problem number 57 on this tragic list of stupidity. The parachute info that I so painstakingly screwed up also does not copy over. But we'll get back to that a little later. So with all of the parachutes armed, even the ones that aren't going to do us any real good, because I mean most of these are just going to plow into the surface anyway, we are going to pick 2 lucky winners of our snack pods, I guess part missiles at this point, and fuel them up from the primary tank. Now according to the figures there, we got about a minute of runtime on our experimental engine that should deliver to us about 3,000 meters per second. these figures are not accurate because crossfeed is enabled on really all of those decouplers. So I think it was accounting for fuel that it really should not have. All things said and done, our Delta V figures are right about 1,300 or so meters per second off of that main engine. And just as a last minute check, we will top off the batteries in the 2 Able cores that will be making the final leg of the descent and lock them closed so that we will absolutely have charge when we go to make most of this descent. Now, like I said, as you can see here, it's almost on the terminator for the day-night side, and by the time we get there, it will be in sunlight-ish. The problem is we cannot actually make any maneuvers or do anything at all until we have sunlight on those solar panels, which is incredibly convenient. So as you can see, our position now is way off. So I thought I'd take a couple of laps as far as the orbit is concerned and try to figure out if we could get better positioning just by waiting. The answer is not really, so I'll just go ahead and spoil that for you. Although Mech Jeb's landing guidance giving us a show predicted touchdown, super useful, especially in this case. It's not like the moon. We got a lot of aero and drag forces, and plus we need a pretty hardy inclination change to do literally anything at all. So we're going to start loading up Flight Computer. We're going to kind of recalculate this node a little bit. This is the part where I was taking a couple of orbits, seeing if maybe we could just get a nice if we would just happen to be over the target when it came time to do the deorbit maneuver and in daylight, or if we could get to a place where we would be in daylight when we needed to execute this, and how much all in all it would take. We're getting figures anywhere from 1,200 to 1,300 meters per second, but I've just decided that we're just going to go for this. I'm done waiting around. So I'm going to hit the spacebar about 1,000 times because Flight Computer, for some reason, hitting toggle stage does nothing most of the time. And you're going to see that coming up here, I suppose. So just as a backup, we're going to tell it to toggle decouplers and activate our Asterisk 2 engines on our drop pods. The parachutes are armed. We've unlocked the batteries, or at least we will next time we cross into the sunlight, to try to preserve as much of that as possible. And we're going to try to ride these solar panels as far in as really we can allow, or my bad timing. Now the batteries are unlocked. We can orient ourselves into this node, and then, well, KSP did crash, but I hope that I could smooth this out a little bit. Yeah, that's my recovering from the crash of KSP. Anyway, we're about 5 seconds out of the node, so I will turn you over to old me. And let's light it up. Okay, looks to be a good light. Ignition is solid. And yeah, we're going to be using Mech Jeb's Smart ASS thing. We're actually going to use a lot of Mech Jeb for this descent. I have a plan. Let's see how well this works. Alright, so says this burn should take about 43 seconds. We got 35 seconds of runtime. Oh, that's interesting. So even the Delta V figures have to be wrong because our runtime is way off, although there's often a disagreement. Oh, yeah, quite a significant plane change. Just leaning on the H key, trying to take some of that work away from the engine. I'm really worried we're pressing right up against its rated runtime. Please just don't let it fail. 600 meters per second to go. I think we're going to be undershooting just a bit here. Yeah, the disagreement with those figures is worrying. DV says we have 800, node needs 300, but we got 11 seconds left on the node, but only 8 seconds of runtime. Alright, and come on. 90, you can do it. Flame out, 53 meters per second to go. Let's just kill the throttle. Okay. Yeah, unlock these, make sure that those Astros engines aren't fooled into thinking they have nothing, and let's get Mech Jeb to hold retrograde. Current altitude 200 kilometers, 191 actual, and falling, well, it's going to pick up that vertical speed indicator. Alright, a little bit of time warp just to lock things in. Surface, where's the thing that does the... No, I totally checked this. It is not advanced. Surface target. There it is. Excellent. This should help us quite a bit. What's our current heading? 275. Dial that in. Pitch. I do want to buy some time before we start hitting dirt. So we'll set that at 15. Execute. Please don't overdo it, Mech Jeb. Alright. Easy. Oh, why are these two dots here? Let's get rid of those. I guess, yeah, that was me trying to time warp. Probably. Alright. Let's adjust this heading 265. Execute. Because we need to angle to the target. Oh, there's our staging. Oh, flight computer needed to be rebooted. Well, I guess we don't need it anymore. Oh god, and I have to redo all the things for both of these? Great. That's some very impressive formation flying. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. Trying to think about what heading I should do. 275 looks about good. Pitch about 25 degrees. Now we have to switch and do it all over again. Surface, surface. Pitch 25. Good. Heading 275. Good. Execute. Okay. So eventually they'll both get angled in here. Now, based on what I learned from our previous food missile experience, lighting the engine at 40 kilometers leaves us about 2 kilometers per second of speed shy. So we're going to light the engine significantly earlier than that. Nope. Alright, this one. Yes, let's unlock our primary tank. I left that little tiny tank at the bottom empty for no real reason whatsoever. Since these pods are empty, I don't think we'll need them. That's a good one. What was that? Is that flight computer trying to stage the primary part? Again, really? Okay. Well, that appears to have done absolutely nothing to our parent craft. Alright, Atmo, Thunk. Where are the ballots? The ballots have not deployed. Oh, that's a problem. Well, let's get this in some kind of recognizable flight pattern. Oh no. Oh, I bet you the parachutes are defaulted because everything else is defaulted. Why wouldn't they be? Oh, all that time testing for parachutes and didn't bother to copy over the info. Thanks. Copy paste V8. Oh boy. Okay, if the parachutes are defaulted, that means one, they're what, silk? No. It's Kevlar standard and then silk, so they're standard. They're probably going to deploy at 30 kilometers and go to full deploy at like what, 1 kilometer? All right, well, we're going to have to buy more time. Pitch to 30, heading 285. Ignition. Let's get you angled up. 3.5. One of these has to work. There's our target right ahead of us. You can see that mountainy formation thing. And there goes the primary stage. We are lit and holding. Not you, yes you. Alright, looking pretty good. Can we see our other? No, is this the one that's ahead? Yeah, pitch 30. We're just going to hang with this one for a little while, seeing as how this is the probably the best chance of success we have. Or maybe this one is. Who knows? Let's up this pitch. We're going to have to... We need to slow down a whole lot if we have any hope of these parachutes doing absolutely anything at all. And I'd really rather not come down all engine. And I think we're absolutely coming in on the wrong side of this mountain. So some heading changes. Execute. What the hell was that? I guess that's flight computer having a heart attack over not being able to actually stage anything. No clue what that is either. Okay then. Alright, watching that vertical speed. Yeah, it's almost below 200 meters per second vertical drop, so I think we can lower this pitch and just try to bleed off some of this horizontal. Up this to 300. I don't know if we're going to be able to get on the correct side of this mountain, to be real honest with you. Come on. Yeah, let's take it down to 3, whatever. We need to bleed horizontal speed right now. 315. Yeah, no, I'm saying if we're going to fire that much off retrograde, we should probably keep a pitch angle. But yeah, we're not going to be able to turn. I mean, it's basically a 90-degree turn right now. Let's just get them on the ground, preferably in one piece. All right, down to 1,700 meters per second. At 49 kilometers actual, that's going to change pretty rapidly as we go over this weird mountain thing. Volcano. It has been speculated. Crater thingy. And yeah, pretty soon we're probably going to have to switch modes and just go straight retro. Yeah, 1,500 meters per second vertical speed of it was 75 on the last one. 170 on this one. That's interesting. But 36 kilometers, 35 kilometers altitude. So if I'm right about the parachutes... Oh, hey, there we go. We're only about 70 kilometers off target. That is our sad excuse for Mars base. Inside the crater would be a really bad thing, honestly. Alright, 1,100 meters per second. 38 kilometers on this guy, so focusing on the other one is probably my best bet for first deployment. We'll just leave this engine running, but yeah, we're getting ready to be less than a kilometer per second. Yeah, 900 meters per second. So we should be green to deploy. Although we're not getting any warning signals. Alright, well, we should be coming up on deployment here anyway, so... 31, 30... 1. There they go. Hold, hold, hold. Yellow cautions on all shoots. Come on, little guys. You can do it. Hold, please, please hold. Oh. Down to 400 meters per second. They're holding. Alright, yeah, 23 kilometers here. 300 meters per second. 33 kilometers altitude. Oh, we need to surface velocity negative. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, I should probably switch this one too. There you go. Oh, wow. 100 meters per second. Let's go ahead and kill this engine. Whoa. Oh, okay. I guess you started to climb right before chute deployment. So we'll just let this little guy figure it out. The parachutes will correct soon enough, I suppose. 6, Yeah, rate of descent only about 40 meters per second. Come on, shoots. Oh, they're totally going to hold like 80 meters per second. Yes! Where's our other little guy? 14 kilometers at 200 meters per second. Okay, let's start pulsing this engine. How quickly can we bleed 200 meters per second? Pretty quick. That was 100. Oh boy. Yeah. We are 93 kilometers as the crow flies. Okay, that's 11. You're at 25, so I guess, man, I really hope we can stick both of these. That would be awesome. 9 kilometers, 166. No. RCS does nothing. Please tell me that tank is empty. Okay, good. Everything is down low. Okay. So at about 2 kilometers altitude, if we're at 200 meters per second, when do these chutes go to full deploy, I wonder? Probably at 1 kilometer, which is absolutely ideal. Thank you, default settings. All right, coming up 2.5. Light it. Shut down 200 meters per second, 50. Come on, come on. Go to full deploy so I can get a better bearing on this speed. Well, there's some things hitting the ground. That's not a good sign. I really hope that's not my other pod. Not gonna check right now. 300 meters. 200. 150. Oh, come on, come on. Come to a stop, come to a stop, come to a stop! Yes! Yes! Oh, let's lock that tank so we can save that bit of fuel. It's not going to roll anywhere because we still have an air brake. Oh, we have an engine on the ground. Oh. Oh no, that was our other pod. We have exactly one. Let me check the map view just to make sure, because that other guy should still be airborne. Oh, I guess if he was falling at 200 meters per second, maybe not. Whoa, buddy. Yeah, that's all other stuff. Dang it. It would have been really cool to land two, but I guess we'll deal with one. Whew. Holy crap. I'm really kind of mad we couldn't get two. I'm just being greedy, though. There's absolutely no reason to get two other than KIS is kind of dumb sometimes, but that's what quick saves are for. Hopefully we will be able to navigate this craggy slope and recover this engine before it gimbals itself to death. Holy crap. Oh god, that took way more than I ever could have wanted for. We are 96.4 kilometers away. We'll have to check endurance on our rover, but I think we can clear that kind of distance. We can't go straight across, obviously. We're going to have to go around the basin and then up to collect it. Will be a nice chance to plant some flags, maybe do some science. Hey, we're in the Highlands. That is actually a biome we don't have. So we can equip our rover and do some things and the stuff. And I'm really kind of mad that I couldn't land two of them. That sucks. I'm just being greedy, but we're gonna take this little tank and the engine attached to it home and hopefully build it onto our ascent stage and hope for the best. Anyway, we're just gonna admire this view for a little bit. Not that it's gonna be a screenshot or anything, but that's gonna do it for this episode, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.